Hey everybody, Ark here, and today we're going to finally be getting into the series that I wanted to do for quite some time. It's going to be the anime review of RWBY. Alright, some things I want you guys to be aware of before we start the video. A, please forgive me if I constantly start drinking orange juice. It's hot as balls here in the lovely old state of Georgia, and I hadn't turned the AC off because it's just so fucking loud. Like, literally, you just hear the whole time, and I, had to turn it off. But it's, so fucking hot. So if you see me taking a drink of my trusty little orange juice here, like I'm about to do now, because it's still hot as balls. Oh, thank God, it's so beautiful. Please do not be offended. I promise you, I'm trying to just rehydrate my body. I hope you guys all had a lovely July the 4th. I personally didn't do much except for listen to the possibly fire starting explosives happening right outside the freaking wall over there, and making sweet love to a tub of peach cobbler ice cream, because why the fuck not. But this will be the spoiler-free edition, so if you would like to watch this before you watch the anime to see if, maybe this is the right anime for you, or if this is something you might want to get yourself into, please, by all means, watch it first. This will be with no spoilers whatsoever, and I would appreciate no spoilers in the comments. But not everyone's going to listen to that, so to people who haven't watched RWBY before, and you found yourself going down into the comments, please beware. Also, I apologize if I speak way too fast. Sometimes I have to remind myself to slow my speech down so everyone can hear me and understand what the hell I'm saying. On that note, we're going to get started with, I'm going to read you guys the official summary, as well as followed by, a cute little tidbit by me. And then we're going to get into 3 basic questions that'll give you some overview facts of what RWBY is. And, excuse me, I gotta read this book in my shitty handwriting. The future fantasy world of Remnant is filled with ravenous monsters, treacherous terrain, and more villains than you can shake a sniper sight at. Fortunately, Beacon Academy is training huntsmen and huntresses to battle the evils of the world, and Ruby, Weiss, Blake, and Yang are ready for their first day of class. This anime was the child of the late and great animator Monty Oum. With the help of Rooster Teeth, RWBY has skyrocketed into a wide following with its colorful characters, vast worlds, and infinite cosplaying possibilities. Why did I say possibilities, and the word opportunities is clearly written right there, and I guess I don't know. Alright, so if that enough doesn't pique your interest, I'm going to give you my own personal opinion. Starting with the first question, what was your first impression? Honestly, going into it, I kind of knew what it was going to be about because I had watched a little bit of Monty Oum's work before. He does a lot of, what is it called? EDM? I don't know. It's like the little dance thing where they get I see a lot of times they take famous anime characters and they'll have them doing the cool little dance moves and whatnot. Excuse my horrible dance skills. Sweet, Jesus, gotta love that Georgia heat, right? God, love bordering fucking Alabama and goddamn Florida, being in the pits of goddamn the United States of America. So, this shirt isn't helping. The only one I could find, though. What was I saying? Oh yes, but the anime dance thing, with the music, that was what he was really, really good at. And he also, I had watched the series Dead Fantasy that he did. Well before I had, actually came to, watch the trailers for RWBY. So I kind of knew that he was, extremely good at fighting sequences. So I kind of went into it thinking, the fighting sequences are going to be, freaking amazing. They're just going to be out of this world, really well choreographed, really looking really smooth, and just, blow your mind amazing. And I was aware, I hadn't watched all of Red vs. Blue, but I was aware of the first 2 seasons, and I knew that Rooster Teeth was really good with comedy. So I was expecting an action comedy sort of thing, and I for the record, was not disappointed at all. It was really well done. I especially love the fighting sequences. They're amazing. And the fact that they add dust, or that's the magic of the world, as an element. And you got, God, I love my particle effects, right? They're just amazing. They look really seamless and well done. The only thing I would warn anybody about is, and it's kind of common with Rooster Teeth, be careful when you first get into it. The animation is it's a little clunky, a little chunky, but but when you get into the first season, it's kind of them just wiring things out. It definitely gets a lot more fluid and natural looking as you progress throughout that season by itself. And later seasons, when you get into season 2 and season 3 especially, like, it just looks a lot more fluid and natural. And your background characters actually don't look like they came from the shadows of Persona. But I found it to be a very wonderful thing. When I first watched it, I was a little skeptical of one thing, and that was just that I was afraid that certain characters were going to be this way, that way, and I was just like, oh, I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to like the characterization, but I really like the fighting sequences, so I'll stick around for that. And I found myself falling in love with the characters because there's just so many of them. And they're all so diverse and so different from each other. Like, it's very clear to see the distinct differences between each character that set them apart and kind of make them their own. Because the problem I have with a lot of animes, with like large rosters of characters, is that at some point they kind of start blending together. And they just kind of like start becoming like all the same character. Like, this character is basically just like this character, except for this quirk. And this character's like this character, except he doesn't like this character. So they have this quirk going on and this thing going on. And it's just like, they're all very clearly defined, not only by their backstories, but also by the character's basic wants and desires that we don't understand yet, but still play out like they understand. Which I hope they would. They're their own goals and ambitions, right? Which I guess was really good for me, because if I get bored with something, I lose interest immediately, and I'll just never watch it again. But this one had a really good thing of keeping your interest and keeping your attention with like things happening every moment, especially in the first season. Like, the second and third get a bit more story heavy. But at that point, the show is like caught your attention and yanked you in, so it can give extra time to some more exposition to kind of fill out the story and the world that you're in. But I'll get to that in a second. Second question: how was the soundtrack? So hot! Jesus Christ, so hot. Welcome to the budding state of Georgia, ladies and gentlemen. Or you can lick Satan's balls just by going outside and sticking your tongue out. Although I know we don't have it nearly as bad as like Texas and Los Angeles and Florida. Florida, you're a little fucked. But we're right up there. God bless Alabama. How do you do it? How was the soundtrack? The soundtrack was amazing. It was breathtaking. It was beautiful. Ever since the trailers, I think the standard for the soundtrack was set so high. And it was just so phenomenal and beautiful and amazing, and it was just like, it basically took my breath away. It was amazing. I find myself, whenever I bike to work, like just putting headphones in and just listening to the soundtrack while I bike to work, just because it's that good. It's that catching. Like, it's something I can listen to, especially my favorite being Mirror Mirror, both parts, which is Weiss's theme, and Neon, which is Neon's theme. I love Neon's theme. Can I just side note, Neon's theme, which you will learn about later. Flawless. I love the song. I love the lyrics. I love how jumpy, catchy, just yes, da 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 it is. Please ignore that. It's very rock themed. So if you're into like sweet guitar riffs and just watching it shred. I don't even know if these are relevant guitar terms anymore. Shows how much I know about music, right? Despite being like totally having a total music background, right? But like if you're into like some unconventional rock, I think you'll like it. It's very girl. I think I found it. Very girl rock band. Very it's very Sailor Moon meets Paramore. That's the best way I can describe that. Sailor Moon meets Paramore. The songs are very like the very catchy, very just amazing sounds of Paramore, but the lyrics are very Sailor Moon. With a little Paramore sass thrown in there to make it like really good. But I guess I'll add on with the soundtrack of voice acting. I have to say that in the beginning, Rooster Teeth always suffers in the voice acting department. And I think that's just basically because, these people haven't grown up their entire lives just practicing and crafting the art of acting like everybody, like every other anime is, even though some animes have like terrible voice acting in them as well, especially for dubs. Oh god, dubs can be like the worst sometimes. But I mean, I don't mind them. They can just sometimes be like, oh my god, why? But so the first season, it's gonna sound very weird. I can't not say that. It's gonna sound very weird. But I feel like that was just them like trying to get the characters and understand like what does this character want? What's their dreams? What's their aspirations? What's driving this character? What would this character say or do, or how would they feel in the situation? And for the first season, I feel like they're just kind of figuring that out, as opposed to like seasons 2 and 3, where it's just like, bam, I know what my character wants to do. I know what my character would say in the situation, and it's just so much better. It is. In the later seasons, so much better. And so getting into the last question, how was the world of Remnant? For me, a well-developed setting can be not a make it or break it, but just such a hit or miss with a show. Like, either the setting just makes the show just phenomenal, or it holds the show back from its like true potential. A great example of this is Full Metal Alchemist, which beautifully develops its backgrounds and its setting, and it develops the characters in those settings very well, and it adds and enhances the story so much, as opposed to anime like, and I flame shield up, Naruto. I love the anime, but in a good bit of, if it's not battle, sometimes it feels like, to me, the backgrounds and the settings are just screensavers. Especially when you get into, well, not so much for the original Naruto series. In the original Naruto series, they really valued setting and like where the characters were at the time. When you got into Shippuden, they really just started being like, oh, well, you're here. And unless there's something of significant note that's going to affect the battle about where you are, then where this is taking place is irrelevant. Environment, irrelevant. All of it, irrelevant. And I didn't care for it. For Shippuden. Didn't stop me from watching it, but it was just like, dang, well, you did such a good job of this in the first one. Why didn't you in the second one? Whatever. But Jesus Christ, I didn't want to drink this much of this. Oh, the flies are back. I can hear them. They're gonna invade. They're gonna strike. Oh god, I can see them. Sorry, there are these 3 flies that have been like buzzing around in my place, and they're just like, hi, hello, how you doing? And I've been failing miserably to try and catch them, and they're just buzzing everywhere, and it's getting my last damn nerve. But back to what I was saying. The world of Remnant is like super good about its environment meaning something and incorporating its environment into the story. Without giving away any spoilers, there's during their first days officially part of Beacon Academy. There's one overbranching story arc in particular where the setting is like super pivotal, and it kind of makes me wish the animation was like that much better, because the surroundings and how much they use the environment in what they and how they fight and it affecting how they fight is just amazing, and I love it. Like, it just shows that the background and the place where they are, it's not just sitting there and looking pretty. It's being used in the fight, and it's being used as a limiter. Like, there isn't just suddenly this vast expanse of field and space, or oh no, now there's trees, and no, it keeps very realistically, except for one certain part that I won't mention because that's spoilers. But it very much so keeps to the confines of, this is a city, so there will be buildings here. Buildings will be here. You will use these buildings, and if you get this far, you will hit this building. Like, it's very much so smart about doing that, and I like that. And also the lore behind the world is amazing. And I don't know, for season 3, it starts to kind of feel a little convoluted, a little bit, just a touch. But they even take that somewhat convoluted element and they weave it into the story believably enough that it's not just like something thrown in there to cause a problem, but it's like the underlying reason behind the story to begin with. Like, it's something that you're not told about until later, but it definitely plays a huge part in the story. So as an overall wrap up, I love this show. It's great. And this isn't just me fanboying about it. There are some things that aren't so great. And if you do start watching it, the first season's a trek. It's a trek, it's a trudge, and you just kind of gotta power through it. You really gotta power through it if you're gonna do the first season. But if you do it, you will be graciously rewarded with flavorful characters, wonderful setting, an amazing soundtrack, and with the 4th season coming up on October 22nd, thank you, Rooster Teeth, for fulfilling my life's fantasies. I've already taken that day off. I've already requested that day off. They are giving me that day off, whether they like it or not. But just really take a chance. Dive off a cliff. If you're not 100% think you'll be sold, watch the red, white, and blue. 4th of July still on the brain. The red, white, black, and yellow trailers. And then you will, if you're not sold off of that, watch the first episode. Let the kind of really bad comedic writing sell you. But on that note, guys, I believe this video to be over. Like, comment, and subscribe if you guys want to see more and you want to keep up with this. Keep in mind, after this video, there will be heavy-duty spoilers, as we will be doing overviews of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd season, overall characters, and then predictions for the 4th season. So, stay tuned, and, arc out. Bye-bye. And this is the part of the video where I, now foolishly fumble for the camera button.